The first thing I remember is the game that I love. A man on a diamond with a golden glove. Daddy with me in the cheap seats above saying...
Welcome to the Two Cutoff Men, the podcast dedicated specifically to the Cincinnati Adult Baseball League. I'm Jason Earhart, along Colt 45's first baseman Ray Sterling as we recap the week that was, the week ahead, and all things CABL.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
And thanks once again for tuning in to the Two Cutoff Men. For more information about our league, you can visit our Facebook page by searching Cincinnati Adult Baseball League. You can also check out the league's website, www.cincyabl.com. That's Cincy with a Y. You've got stat standings, rosters, schedules, and game recaps, and everything you'd want to find out about the league on there. With that, I'd like to welcome in our co-host, who is also the show's executive producer, longtime Colt 45 veteran Ray Sterling. And Ray, welcome to podcast lucky number 7. How about that?
Lucky number 7. Yeah, this is just keeps rolling on. I'm liking it.
Well, number 7 hasn't been so lucky for my Yankee team. We suffered our 7th rainout of the season this morning. Insane.
Yeah, it's getting a little old. I think we're going to have to talk when we talk about the Player of the Week. I think the Player of the Year is kind of rolling out as Mother Nature, so she's kind of taking us all out right now.
Well, I'd like to give her something other than sunflower seeds, but we'll talk about that later. We have an action-packed show for you, lots to recap over the last week, plus and a lot to look forward to. Plus, we'll have the Hot Corner today, a special guest. Make sure you listen here in about 15 minutes or so. We will have a second edition of the Hot Corner. You don't want to miss that. Well, as you mentioned, Ray, it's been a rainy couple of weeks. Last time we talked a week ago Saturday, we were just before June the 9th, the game starting that next day, and fortunately, we were able to get most of those games in, and we'll just jump right into it. The Expos and Knights, they were out at Heritage. They were going to play, but we had a big mess up with the umpires there where the umpires did not show up at Heritage 3 and only one showed up over at Heritage 2. So you had 4 teams, 1 umpire. So the Knights and Expos just played a little scrimmage. So unfortunately for them, on a day when the field was dry, they didn't get to play.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You know, that's when we need to take advantage of every chance we get. So hopefully, it's kind of, I hate to say it, but with Mother Nature doing her thing, it's kind of still the beginning of the season. So we are going to have, every once in a while, have those mix-ups, and when it happens, it happens. We just deal with it, and we'll roll on.
And the game out of Foundation last Sunday, the Dodgers kind of did what they typically do. They fell behind 6-1. We've seen this movie before, and you know how it typically ends. The Dodgers were able to come back from a 6-1 deficit, came back and scored the final 16 runs of the game, and they beat the Mudcats by a final score of 17-6. Brad Clark comes in, shuts it down, and the Dodgers pick up the win. Ray, this has kind of been a common theme for this Dodger team this year.
Yeah, definitely. And, again, like we've talked about, they're always tough out at Foundation anyway. But, they've been going back and forth, and to take down the Mudcats, that's Mudcats after taking down the Bulls and having some luck there and doing some good, run into a team of Dodgers that decided to be hot this week. So always tough at Foundation.
Absolutely. And a couple other games. The game out at Franklin looked like an exciting game.
Yeah, we had the Braves and the Bulls out there, and it looked like a back-to-back, kind of another football score. Somebody just missed an extra point there. But 14-13, the Braves take down the Bulls. It sounds like we got a little problem with Brothers. It sounds. I don't know I don't know if you have any kind of feedback on what happened to him, or if it's just a shoulder injury or what's going on. Hopefully, it's nothing too bad. But it sounds like he's going to be on the DL for a little while. But,
I talked to Taylor Fisher of the Braves. I think he said Brothers only pitched a couple innings in that game, took himself out. And I know Scott was suffering some shoulder pain late last year. They kind of shut him down before the playoffs. Looked all right, but unfortunately, it looks like that's caught up with him here. And, you hate to see that. Scott Brothers, one of the big competitors in this league, and he heads to the DL. That makes things a little bit tougher for the Bulls going forward for sure.
Yeah, definitely. If you know a guy, if he's taking himself out, you know he's hurting, because most guys are gamers. They're going to just try to fight through it, and hopefully it's nothing too bad. I hate to see that happen to anybody. So, especially at our age, it takes a little longer sometimes to come back. So, let's hope for the best for Brothers, and that he's back and coming here in a few weeks, and not too much of an out. Another game we had going on at Heritage Park, number 2, we had the Suds against the Orioles. And the Orioles that we talked about, coming out hot. Suds come out and take them down 7-3. So it sounds like Suds had some good pitching going on and held the Orioles to only 3 runs. So was it Combs goes 7 innings. Nice. On a Sunday, almost a complete game. So 7 innings pitched, 8 hits. Nice job, 6 Ks. So
yeah,
good game.
And if you're the Orioles, you have to be encouraged by the fact that again, the same score they had with the Meridians, they lost, but 7-3. There's really no shame in losing 7-3 to the Suds. This team is always good year after year, and I think that's just another sign for the Orioles that they're able to start competing with these teams. We saw a lot last year where they were getting run ruled by teams the caliber of the Suds, but now even the games they're losing, the Orioles are hanging right in there.
Yep, new year, new team. That's a good thing. You made some changes, and guys coming out playing harder. That's pretty good. So, and take it away. We have one at Finneytown.
Yeah, the game out at Finneytown involved the Meridians and the Sting, and the Meridians able to get the run rule win, 12-2. Brett Miller with a complete game in that one. Meridians breaking out the Big Lumber, scoring a lot of runs there. Also helped out by some Apache Sting defense. They made some errors, and the Sting not able to overcome those as Tyler Snow able to get the start there for the Sting. Good to see him back on the mound. I know he was suffering from some injuries last summer, and he'd be a big factor for the Sting if he's able to stay healthy this season. So Tyler Snoke back out there, but not enough as the Meridians continue to win 12-2. They lost opening day, have not lost since then. Game out at North College Hill, a big one we talked about last week. One of our Game of the Week candidates was the Hooks and Hustle, and Hooks go out there and win that game by a final score of 9-2. Sounds like the final score was closer, or the score was not what the final score would suggest. It was a 5-2 game through 6. The Hooks able to put away late, and they get their win, stay undefeated. Adam Leach, Ben Ramsey, Joe Flick, and Bo Turner all with a pair of hits. The Hooks just keep rolling on.
Yeah, Demler out there going a complete game, 10 Ks. Jimmy and I have been friends. We've been, I guess you want to call rivalries, for a long time. As a matter of fact, what's pretty funny is, I don't know if he even knows I have this, but I have a video on a VHS tape of us and when we played for our Little League teams. We were actually the very first game back when TKR cable was around. We played a game against each other, and I have that on VHS tape.
Wow.
I might have to bring that out. So that was way back in the 80s. So
you are aging yourself, my friend. Back in the VHS, does anybody even have a VHS player? That's going to be your biggest obstacle. You need to get that transferred over to the digital, I think.
Yeah, I keep meaning to do that, to be honest with you. And there's another buddy of mine that plays on that I'm actually trying to get over. So I'm not going to say his name, but there's another. I'm trying to get him on our team here to come back into playing again. But on that tape, and it was. That's a pretty good one. So, good job with Jim. Jim's a hell of a pitcher, and he just, even at our age, he still just keeps rolling with these guys. So, good guy. I like Jim, and so good job, Jim. You guys had got Mother Nature taking you guys out, the Yankees and the Dragons.
Yeah, I know. All too common, unfortunately.
Well, they took out. I'll tell you what, the Reds are having some bad luck too with Mother Nature. So Deerfield and Reds got rained out at Testerman as well, and we'll talk going into the next segment here after the hot corner. We'll talk about another one that hit the Reds again on Wednesday that actually affected us. So.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate when you get rained out at Testerman Park, because that is one of the fields that is the most playable in the league. So definitely some bad luck for those two ball clubs. Since you took the Yankees game, it's only fitting that I take the Colt 45s game. How about that? Colt 45s with a couple of touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. They knock off the Flying Tigers by a final score of 15-0. Sounds like Gary King gave you guys a good start, and Colt's able to put up some runs on last Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Gary came out and was throwing well, and was holding the Flying Tigers down. And Flying Tigers struggled a little bit with some pitching there, and they had a little bit too many walks. I don't know what the total number of walks were, but walks will haunt, like we always talk about.
Yep.
We actually only had, I believe we said, 6 hits in that game. I know I had 2 myself. We had, we had one other guy that had 2 hits. I'm trying to think of who it was now. Mikey D actually had 2 hits, and then we had 2 other guys that had single hits. So we didn't have many hits out there, but we were able to capitalize on the walks and able to take them down 15-0. So
sounds like you guys made the most of a short number of hits, but a good win for the Colt 45s as they continue to roll. The Tigers beat the Brewers out of McNick 17-3. Jake Eby stays hot, 3 for 3, 5 RBIs. Doug Harlow, 2 hits and 4 at-bats. He stays hot as well. And Justin Barlow gets the start, giving up just 2 runs. And a big win for this Tigers team as they lost to the Brewers early in the season, 13-3 in their first game. And they're able to turn the tables on the Tigers and win this game 17-3. And that's big, being able to come back and even that season series.
Yeah, that's a good game there. Being able to come back and turn the tables around, and then as we look at that will definitely bring us into one of our segments there that we have too, and it brings
a teaser.
The teaser. Yeah.
That's a teaser from Ray. Yes.
Yeah. So let's see. The Dearest Alice. The battles continue to mount. General Compton continues to rally the men, but we are weary. Captain Jarbo lost a leg to gangrene, but his spirit remains high, and he is an inspiration. We march again soon, so please give your mother my love.
Oh, Jay Lowry strikes again. You heard him on the hot corner here last week, and well, you knew he had to break out some good lines on the website after appearing on the hot corner. I think we put the pressure on him to up his game even more, and he certainly never disappoints.
Oh, definitely. I saw the gangrene part, and I just about lost it when I saw that. I was like,
gangrene.
Oh, my God.
Oh, goodness.
Pull them out.
Absolutely.
So we had, that was the wrap-up of the Sunday games. Again, Mother Nature took out a couple that week. Yeah, she continues to try to be undefeated on us, but hopefully we can start knocking her down a little bit. So covering Wednesday games, looks like Mother Nature got her hand in there again and knocked some people out. So they took out the Deerfield Flying Tigers game, the Braves Mudcats game. They also knocked out the Orioles and Dragons game. A couple of these games actually got started. We had the Braves and the Mudcats got into the bottom of the 4th, which was a shock that they actually got in that far. And the Braves were up 4-1, going to the bottom of the 4th, and then here comes Mother Nature. And so also the Dragons and Orioles rained out after an inning and a half. This is getting to be a common thing.
And I'll tell you what was bad about that game, Ray. At least I feel bad for the Dragons. They have not won a game yet. They've had a rough start to the season. They had a 9-0 lead heading to the bottom of the 2nd inning. And as you know, the threshold for continuing a game is 2 full innings. So if you get 2 full innings in, the game will be continued at that point. I know we were playing the Dodgers. We were up 4-0 the other night. It was the bottom of the 2nd, and we had our guy run into an out just to get through that 2nd inning. We're like, make an out. We got to get the 2nd inning done so this will count. And you guys, the Colt 45s, kind of had a similar situation that the Dragons did. You had a big lead, but you never reached that threshold.
Yeah, we were up 7-1 on the Reds going into the bottom. I think we had 1 out left to go. We would have made it into the 2nd inning to close out our 2nd inning. To start the 2nd inning, and it kept pouring down and coming down. So we ran into the same thing, and that was what I was talking about the Reds. They just, I don't know that I want to see them on my schedule for a while because they just seem to keep bringing the rain for a while now. But it's getting bad. So hopefully this is gonna die down some. But you guys got rained out with the Dodgers at Sycamore. Bulls and the Meridians got rained out. Game suspended. Top of 3. Bulls 1. Meridians nothing. And then we had the Brewers and the Expos. They got rained out. And I'll go ahead and read this one. I'll tell you what, Jason. I'm going to let you read this one. I read the last one. I kind of had to go through it. So I'm going to let you go ahead and read this one in here.
Dearest Martha, our trek to Mount Healthy. Now, keep in mind he said Mount